What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're in New York. We're in actually Andrew's house. I've been here plenty of times. However, I'm here with Josh. We're going to the New England Farmers Market tomorrow in Connecticut. So I figured let's go do some videos at Andrew's house. Josh has never seen this tank, so I'm gonna surprise him and tell him you're the one who's gonna do the videos.
Oh my God. That sucker is moving. That's my favorite part of the tour.
So let's go get him and let's go get Andrew. Come on. So Josh, what do you think of this 900-gallon tank?
It's hard to believe it's as new as it is.
Well, I got some news for you. I told you I was gonna do the video. You've never been here, so you're gonna be the one doing it, buddy.
Well,
No,
I'm kind
seriously.
of overwhelmed. There's a lot here.
I figure I've been here 2 or 3 times already, and I figure what better way to show everyone under your eyes different perspective, different questions. This tank wasn't running last time. He's got another one running in the office, so let's go look for Andrew, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I guess first things first, I really appreciate you having us.
Great to have you, and glad you made it over.
But I got to start by saying I really don't even know where to start. I'm thoroughly a coral guy. I've always been a coral guy, and I stand in front of your tank and I feel super humbled because one, it's incredible.
Thanks.
And then these fish completely draw my attention away from the coral.
Right.
I mean, your fish collection is probably better than anybody I've ever seen. Well, it is better than anybody I've ever seen. So kudos to you.
Yeah. Thanks. It was meant to be fish with coral light, and it turned out that the coral just took over, and we made it a huge coral reef, and it gets picked on. I mean, we lose like the butterflies, anything hairy sometimes. I mean, they'll pick it till there's actually a white spot, and then when they see white, it's attack of the butterflies and angels. But other than that, the tank's pretty much on autopilot.
Well, it's a good place to start, I think. So I've been paying attention to your tank since you were building it online. And I know it's gone through multiple iterations, So like you were saying, first it was really coral light and there was a lot of fish. In that way of progress, what were you thinking? How did we end up with so many corals and so many fish together and so many stonies on top of that?
We figured out what corals the fish don't eat. That's part of the reason why they're all stonies in here. Even the chalices, like, we don't understand why a Raja they won't touch, or an old Space Invader, but we put a new Space Invader in, and it's demolished in 24 hours. We don't understand it.
So there's a ton of acros. They all grow really fast, obviously, because they've got to compete against one another here. And Vic made a really good point. When we go to public aquariums, you always see 3 or 4 or 5 different varieties of coral. How did you end up with so many different ones and not have one take over the whole entire thing?
I guess we hired an interior designer, right? And just did it like that. Why didn't one coral take over? I'm not sure, frankly.
But you're actively taking pieces out as they get too much, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
So then what happens with those?
We frag them, we do giveaways, and
Set up another tank?
no more room for that.
Do you have a favorite fish in this tank?
No, it's always the one that you can't get anymore. Right?
Like a flame wrasse.
Yeah, like Hawaii type stuff.
Okay.
Right? So I go through that phase as opposed to having a specific favorite.
And I suppose on this scale, it's more about the harmony of groups of them.
Correct.
So I was actually walking around the backside when you were mentioning that pump was off.
Yeah.
And on the backside of the rocks, really, really low in the back, I saw there was a whole group of tilefish.
Yeah.
What a cool dynamic. There was golds, there was blue hairs.
Yeah.
Well, there's a gold right there.
Yep. Yellow canaries.
I don't remember. There was a few different ones back there, actually.
Well, it turns out we added some of those. We added some yesterday. So maybe really, yeah, we added some tiles yesterday. They came out of quarantine. They were there for like seriously 6-7 weeks.
Do you have any idea that, you know, maybe redoing a section of this tank at some point? Because it's going to get to be a problem pretty soon.
Yeah. At some point, we will.
Yeah. But when you cross that bridge, how many power heads in here do you think are required to run this tank? So I
I'd
noticed.
like one more, actually, frankly, something bouncing off and doing this way. We actually have it, and we haven't installed it. But there's the massive Abyss 400,
The
right?
smaller ones.
The massive Abyss 400, and then the big Hydro Wizard in the middle. And they're doing like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000 gallons per hour. And then we have the AFC 150s. There's one hidden in that cave, 2. There's 3 and 4. There's one hidden in this cave, shooting this way.
And that's changed since there's more coral in here now.
Correct.
That's kind of why I'm going there with that, because as the stuff gets bigger, it's going to require more and more.
Exactly. Which is why we want one on this side. And we are probably going to change the Hydro Wizard to an Abyss. So I just think we need a cross this way kind of thing. And it would have to come from this direction.
In terms of lighting, how many hours of light do you run on it?
First light is really 8 a.m. and it's blue. First white LED maybe come on an hour to 2 hours after that. It's about 10. And then the halides come on at 10:30. And then a mix of 10K and 20K. So it's sort of mixed. The middle whites will start dropping out, you know, at 2. And then by 3, the white LEDs are done completely. Halides are off by 3:30. And by 3:30, the tank is back blue, very blue.
So your peak is only about 4 hours, give or take.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's literally just almost an exact replica.
Is that what you guys do?
Imagine that.
Really?
Imagine that. There's a lot of science behind lighting, and I feel like if you pay attention to your tank enough, you know what to do with it.
Exactly.
You know, so you're doing a good job. I definitely appreciate what you do here. Is there any plans to change out the fish to accommodate different coral, or you just kind of want to keep what you have here?
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean,
That'd be a big undertaking.
yeah, catching fish in this tank is a big undertaking to begin with. I mean, we talked about, like, should we take the hennies out and put Maurice idols in? You know, you make.
Is there any better?
No, we'll have more picking.
Mm-hmm.
It will be worse.
Yep.
But it's stuff we talk about.
Too. What would you do with that? I mean,
I don't know. You have to donate them to, you know.
that's crazy talk.
There are a couple of butterflies that I wouldn't mind getting out of here. But no, I think I'll let nature take its course in here.
It's a very natural tank. I mean, obviously they're picking at the corals. The corals are obviously dealing with it. You've got pest issues. It's literally just like the wild.
Right.
I mean, you can even see the mannerisms of the fish too. They're all acting as if they were out on the reef.
Right.
You know, the fish that want to live together live together.
Yep.
You know, Vic was mentioning the powder blues all swimming together.
Yep.
That's a cool dynamic.
Yeah, we got them all young together, so as one group of 7, and I think we still have the original 7.
That's wicked.
But they were, you know, like, you know, almost quarter size.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they all knew each other. They grew up together. They're like brothers and sisters.
They can't stand each other, right?
I know a lot of people, they get bad raps in tanks, but in this environment, there's no issue at all.
Yeah, it's definitely different from a small aquarium.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only thing that I would try to do if it was my tank is add more branch to the front of this structure in the top. And I know it's probably a terrible thing to do because every time you're in there, you break it off.
Yeah.
But it would just add that last little cap. I wouldn't do anything else different. I think you really killed it.
I still have plenty of room over here on the right-hand side to get big chalices.
But you got to get in and out of there too.
And that's another problem.
That's the challenge, right?
And then of course, is this going to be a chalice the fish are going to eat or not eat?
Stick to the stonies.
Right.
Figured it was probably a good idea to look at this side of the tank, considering I had no idea how nice the structure sloped down this way. It's even a better view here.
It's yeah. Some people think so.
Do you have the preference of that side?
No, I like this side too.
It's nice because each and every one of these
Exactly.
structures
Exactly.
all kind of come up this way.
Correct. Yep.
I think that was very well executed in the rock structure, the coral placement, and just, well, I mean, with you having it built in the ground, you get to see all the tops of the coral.
Yeah, and if you did a phone top-down thing, you get to see that whole slope too.
Yeah, it's
Very
literally
cool,
like
right?
that.
Exactly.
I think that's my favorite part of this tank, is the way that this is shaped from this angle.
Yeah.
Another nice thing from this side is all these Montes and Lamellosa. Well, you've got Monte, you've got Lamellosa, you've got Chalice, you've got Turbinaria,
Yep.
and they're all coming down this way,
Yep.
staged in sequence
Yep.
and color. That's going to be a problem pretty soon. That red
With
cap.
the red cap.
The red cap's going to cover up all those corals there.
Yeah. It's pretty. You know, the red cap and acro, like, they kind of like want different pars. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to sort of settle on, do you want lighter Montes or slower aqua growth?
Yeah, I understand. But this whole area, you can tell, is a little bit lower light.
Correct.
To your point exactly, that
Correct.
Acro doesn't have as great a color as those
Correct.
people out there.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great shot. I'm glad we stopped and looked at this.
Right. All right.
So I see on these, this is the return from your filtration down below, I'm assuming.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this whole, yeah, yes.
And these are electronically controlled shutoff valves. Is that something that you use to alternate side to side?
Yes, so there's no separate pump. I'm just taking it from the front.
Okay.
So they're on a program on the computer, surge valves, and they're both on auto, and right now they're both off.
Okay. And you rotate that on and off throughout the course of the day, or is
Correct,
it for just
yes.
like a really long window?
No, it's they rotate through the day.
How much flow comes out of those?
I would say it goes down half the wall.
This is the stuff that I'm interested in. Engineering is kind of like my thing. Corals just happen to be a byproduct of it.
Yeah.
When this was built, did you always intend to have a setup like this, or was it stuff that you built over time to fix problems that you had when you originally built it?
Both.
Both. Because I feel like no matter how good you do it again and again and again.
Some of the things that we've had to do, and I'll show you when we go downstairs, you would have never thought of. The amount of skimming and the drop, the 50-foot drop down to the sub-basement from the skimmers, that creates a lot of micro bubbles, and the tank can actually get high gas pressure.
Okay.
Something called TGP.
Okay.
Which nobody measures in this hobby. But we had to degas
It's
the
like
system.
It's like thinking of dissolved oxygen in a way.
It's very high in this
It's
tank.
hyper
Both.
enriched.
Right.
So before we go down there really quick, you get in from this side or that side?
That side.
So you can scoot around the back of the rock where
Right.
you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a fiberglass beam that you go sit on.
I'm a bull in a china shop. I'd break everything. Let's go check it out. This is really cool, Andrew. It sounds like you've got orchestra going on back here.
Come on, Mo. 2 twin MRCs
Okay, and this is for the big tank,
for the
obviously.
big tank. And this is for the upstairs, the 2500.
So your new one that we haven't seen
New
yet.
one, right? And these are all the reactors for the 2500, which we're not running now
Okay.
yet because there's not that much
Nothing
coral. Frankly, the phosphate nitrate is behaving right now, so I have no GFO, no nothing. This is a big sulfur reactor that we use on the big tank.
Okay. And without that you would never be able to have that many fish in there.
And feed that much.
Yeah, no way.
And it's down to about, we keep it to about here. We don't use that much sulfur. We used to run it really like that. We just, as the coral got bigger, it uses it.
Sure.
So you just don't need it as much.
So what are your findings with this? Why?
It comes out 0,
Okay.
but the nitrates are very steady at 10 in the display.
So it's self-sufficient.
It's self-sufficient.
Yeah.
and then just 2 big towers, one of carbon and GFO.
Super fluidized too.
Yes.
And how often do you change that carbon out?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah. Or even 3 weeks sometimes.
And this is,
Same in the GFO.
is it a certain type of carbon?
That's Polylab carbon, but if I want to run more aggressive carbon, I'll run ESV.
Oh, okay. And the GFO is obviously only based on
Rolofos.
it's based on your phosphate readings though when you change that out.
The nice part is we don't crash on this tank. Like brand new GFO, I drift from 0.15 down to 0.08 over like 3 days. So there's no like big swing. But then it will stay at 0.1 for 3 weeks and then it starts climbing. So between the 3rd and the 4th week, we change.
So is there a reason why you use ROA as opposed to other removal media?
Like BRF's GFO or
Sure,
just
anything.
once you get the initial red dust out, the ROA seems a little cleaner to us, that's all.
I feel like it's less abrasive.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
doesn't have that immediate shock of removal.
Yeah. And then, well, we can get to the other side, but there's a big sand filter right there.
And you backwash that to do your water change?
Backwash that, do a water change, exactly.
About how many gallons is that?
That's $1,000 to really do a good backwash.
And the total system volume is how much?
17 or 18 if I take out the rock displacement more.
Okay. So it's a small water change.
It's a small water change, and if you want to keep going, you keep going. And remember, you're taking water out to those 100-gallon tanks, and every time I do a GFO or a carbon thing, 300-400 gallons goes down the drain to rinse it.
And then
So there's constant water coming out. So we're doing a lot of small 2,000-gallon water changes.
so that's why you focus so much on trace elements.
Exactly.
And when did you start playing around with the trace?
When the coral started to like really take over, we started ICPing and like seeing what was really going on, and things like fluoride were way down, and so then we just like, let's just.
It made sense to replenish. But you didn't feel like the corals were taking a turn for the worse, and that's why you started looking at it?
I think they do better now. With the moonshine are essentially levels. Not quite as high, but in that zone than they were doing before.
I think it's important. With as small of a percentage of water change as you do, I don't think you could do it without it.
Look what's going on out here. Here we go. These are the chillers.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's on 2 tanks. So basically, there's 2 on the closed loop and 2 on the main returns, in case we had to run the tank down low with water, with just the closed loop, and in case one breaks, and so there's redundancy.
So they need to, these really need to run?
They're running now.
I know, that's crazy.
I know. And these are the dehumidification units, in white, for the house.
I guess it's because there's so much energy being used, has to transfer into heat.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. And then those are the generators, 250 kW combined. One's for the house, one is basically for the tanks.
It's an obsession, dude.
Yeah. And we'll stop here.
And they're heat pump units, right? So they can run heat too?
Let's go see the heat.
Oh no.
This is a scuba diving wetsuit boiler room that gets cold in the winter. 1.2 million BTU.
Wow.
All right. And the reason why we have so much power is we heat the 5,000 gallon vat
Because it's in the ground.
in the ground. A lot of water.
Oh yeah.
Make water changes fast. I could get that to 77 in about 20 minutes.
So this is
Think about that. 60, it's got to go up like 15 degrees.
Yeah, when you think about a regular little tank heater, it's like plus or minus 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, over a period of a day.
So, I mean, God forbid you really needed the water in an emergency, like, you know.
You're up to town.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
And
Natural
then-
gas?
natural gas, and then all these copper sleeves have like the water never really touches the copper. They have like titanium type stuff inside, and then it goes into these blue PVC polyurethane pipes from the heat, so that it doesn't chip away at the PVC. Custom program
Oh my God.
in millions of codes and bits per second. It's monitoring every pipe, every engine.
What happens?
It's able,
if this thing
it
was to go
switches the
down?
engine. Oh, well, we've run it manually. You've had, but every part we have a spare part for. Something blows.
But who can troubleshoot that? Somebody in house?
So there's 4 people watching the alarm settings.
Okay.
We get it right through our phones. Jonathan at the store, Country Critters, Yelson, myself, and the computer. If something goes down bad, Jonathan's here in 30 minutes.
Lucky to have him.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so this is the big salt vat that we just saw from up top in the hatch.
Yep.
And then these are both RO holding.
Correct.
So you have 2 RO holdings in case there's an emergency.
One's doing this too. You ever see a filter like that? It uses the
They're
screen.
smaller.
And then we have an RO wash. And then the RO comes out here down the drain.
This is new.
What?
This is new.
Yeah. Well, we use it in the koi pot.
Ah.
So we had this done out of titanium and fiberglass. No more filter size.
How slow does this move?
It spins when it cleans.
Only.
Otherwise, there's water coming in.
Okay, so the water is entering in the center of it, and as this silk screen catches stuff, obviously it plugs up. And then you spin it and you rinse it, but you got to backwash that water.
It spins. It's on a self-cleaning cycle. It knows how dirty it is.
Okay.
Sensor, and it's ROs by itself. And the RO is a pan in here. And then the water comes out the pan and dumps right down the drain.
Oh, I understand. So it doesn't ever mix with the system water. Got it. Wow, interesting. And this is, you're running this solenoid is all hooked up to that computer upstairs.
Right.
Man, that thing is literally the heartbeat.
Yep.
I like that. That's really neat. How many gallons is this sump?
A grand and 1,200 filled up. So I don't know, it's probably 800 in here now. And these we put in to degas.
Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Instead of building a bio tower above the Sump, we put these in.
That would be the degassing chamber is what they used to call them. Does that have any nitrifying property?
I don't know. This is like pretty like, I guess like 5 or 10 micron like pre-filters that you could put on vacuums too and make it suck more gas out.
I need to look into that.
They're really cool.
The technology
idea.
is neat.
Yeah, it is.
How many amps?
That 10 horsepower?
Oh my God. 10 horsepower, 3,520 RPM difference.
Yeah. Tom, I want to show you. This is the 900-gallon drop down and my NEM cube attached.
Is this PVC?
Yep.
It's got its own high density PVC, right?
It's got its own bubble king. It's got its own UV down here. The chillers are outside, so it's still heat transferred.
Okay.
But
Hang on a second. What's this?
What's that?
What? These are heated?
Heated and cool.
So it's a temperature exchanger.
That's what that is. One's heat, one's cold.
Oh, there's so much going on here. I just want to follow pipes.
We got socks on this tank.
What made you decide to go with this concept?
Well, it was only the 900 wasn't there. It was a 200-gallon cube there. So I had two 200-gallon cubes. I didn't need a big system down here or the real estate. So now the system is much bigger, and you can see I'm for carbon. Like all of a sudden, there's an algae reactor, and we're feeding the amphibians a lot now. But it's it's 250 gallons filled up to here. So it's about 1,200 gallons. The system. It's a reasonable water change.
Wow, that's the only bubble king I've seen here.
Yep. This is the big system. Actually, he's
Oh,
got
okay.
All right, and the reason why we also plumbed it up and bowled over is it helps with the gas too.
Helps to off-gas
Yeah.
the system as well.
Yeah, but it was all underneath.
It's
before.
so
It's
funny.
big.
So it's so funny that you're saying what you were explaining upstairs is that with as much drain as there is, that velocity and that closed pipe injects too much gas into the system.
Correct.
But
Overflow.
that off gas.
That plus those membranes,
I feel like that would still be injecting.
that's off gas.
Interesting.
We're actually keeping the micro bubbles down up on top, and they're not getting sucked back up into the system.
So where's the intake for the big pup then?
They're way down,
How deep does this go?
12 feet.
Oh, so that's how you keep the bubbles out. Because all the bubbles are staying up here popping and they're not getting down to the bottom.
3 10 horsepower pumps. One's always a spare.
I don't know if you can see that. That sucker is moving.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
And
water
then,
going through that pipe.
like that bag right there, it's overflowing. I gotta change it. That's the sulfur reactor, GFO, and carbon.
You can tell by the color.
I can tell by the red.
And this is the kelp coming from that 40-gallon barrel.
There you go.
Wow, how funny is that? See, that's why I like Kalkwasser. Look at how simple that is.
Yeah.
So do you only service the pumps when they leak?
No, we service them.
Yeah?
We change it too.
I feel like there's so many, it would be hard to keep up on the schedule.
I know, it is. Well, that's it. I mean,
That's my favorite part of the tour. Wow, I've never seen so much stuff underneath one roof. And this is in a guy's house. I really can't believe that. Andrew, you're doing it right, man. Definitely thanks for having us. I really appreciate the time taken to answer all of our questions and walking us through your home. This weekend, March 15th and 16th, Reefapalooza in Texas. Make sure you're there. It's going to be a good show. Obviously, I'm not the tour guy. Normally that's Vic, so hopefully you liked it. Leave some comments in the section below. Hit the notification bell so you know when our videos are coming up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.